I've only seen about five or 6 months of it. And, we're, as always, in any bull market, you're going to have minor corrections along the way, but on a long-term basis, we're in my opinion, a sustained gold bull market.
The world faces peak gold according to Goldman Sachs, but one geologist who's discovered more than 30 million ounces of gold says he knows where to find America's hidden gold deposits. Featured on the History Channel's How the Earth Was Made, this expert gold finder could be on the verge of a massive gold strike. Even $1 billion gold giant has engaged this small market cap company to use their proprietary technology. For the thrill of gold discovery with a new edge in Nevada, visit crushthestreet.com/gold.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into crushthestreet.com. I got a new guest on the Crush the Street platform, but someone who's going to represent and who is a representative for Nevada Exploration, a company that we have profiled here at Crush the Street back in October, actually, at 30 cents. The man is Dennis Higgs, and just a little background on him. He's been involved in the financial and venture capital markets in North America for 30 years. And he's really an authority in the resource space, a sector that is actually now getting the attention it deserves after the brutality of the bear market. And Dennis has taken a large stake in a small gold stock, and that, of course, is Nevada Exploration. He's the chairman of the company. Dennis, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Kenneth. Thanks for having me in.
Absolutely, sir. Well, hey, let's start off here with the economy. I want to get your thoughts on the economy. And in a world of unprecedented money printing and negative interest rates and central bank expansion, how concerned are you about the future of the global economy?
Well, I think in simple words, I'm quite concerned. I think the word that best describes the global economy is fragile. And especially outside of the U.S., you've got the central banks might be running out of ammunition to get their economies responding to their spurs. So, yes, I think the simple answer is I'm concerned.
Dennis, these statistics have been around for some time now, and that is 80 million baby boomers are set to retire over the course of the next couple decades. And that's at a pace of 10,000 per day. And in 2030, more than 1 in 5 Americans will be older than 65. And let's face it, when people retire, they become a seller of the general stock market. And I'm actually looking at a chart here, we'll have it in the interview, of the debt to EBITDA at the highest point in the 21st century, and that's just a metric of debt to earnings for the S&P 500, and it's at the highest levels in the 21st century. And with these sort of numbers, I got to ask you, is the stock market safe at these levels?
Well, with leverage increasing and the debt to EBITDA ratios, they're at the highest point this century. So, it comes down to if profit margins were to increase or continue to increase, or and the dividend growth reaccelerates and so on, maybe the stock market will continue to rise as it has recently. But the recent rally and so on, whether or not it can continue, that scenario I just described is not necessarily likely to unfold. The fundamental conditions are not present to support a prolonged late cycle rally in equities, in my opinion. So U.S. equities are in a period of low returns. And I think that's... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to follow up, with another metric here, and that's just the debt to GDP. And, when it's all said and done, it's really the ultimate sink or swim metric. And, we are now, the U.S. is at over 100% and trending higher again, looking at this chart here. Is what, in your opinion, is what the U.S. is facing different than what we have seen in any other time in history?
Absolutely. I mean, we're at incredible debt levels in the U.S., and not just the U.S., but global economies are at the highest debt levels ever in the history, and it's unsustainable. And now you've got, I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. You've got some major names that are well-known fund managers and so on, like Druckenmiller and Bill Gross and so on, suggesting that it's time to get out of the markets, the equities, and in fact, I think it was Bill Gross that said sell everything. So, you know, and each one of these people has now taken significant positions in gold, so that might be telling you something.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Dennis, and that's actually what I wanted to get into next is the opportunities and, you know, the opportunities you're seeing for people, you know, especially as all these fundamentals converge here. And 2016 has been a spectacular year for the mining sector. And what a time to be in the game as economics and fundamentals, as I said, seem to all be converging here to offer some really exciting upside for the juniors. And, you know, as for me, I'm sold on the sector and in the bull market that we're seeing. But I got to ask you, sir, what is it that you see that has you invested in this sector?
Well, very brief background. I spent the last 10 years building a uranium company that started producing uranium in 2014. And then in the summer of 2015, that company was merged with another uranium producer to create what is now the largest uranium company focused in the U.S. So it was about a year ago then that I turned my attention to gold. You know, if you look at gold itself, most people buy gold as a reaction to the uncertainty around them. And of course, we just discussed very briefly about that uncertainty. You know, I think everybody should have some portion, even if it's a small portion, of their portfolio in gold. And gold, of course, is first and foremost wealth insurance. So my own interest started about a year ago, and I might have been slightly early because I think this most recent rally actually started back in January going into February. But that's when I got interested in the sector.
Mm. Well, that's, to say the least, very strategic timing, considering what we've seen in hindsight, and you know, with the juniors and gold bottoming out right around that time there. Dennis, Nevada Exploration was profiled to my subscribers at around 30 cents towards the end of 2015, and this, as I said, would turn out to become what has become the bottom of the bear market, and NGE has gone on to participate in the gains that 2016 has brought around. If you would, please give us an update on the story and what shareholders have to look forward to.
Sure. Very briefly, the background is that Nevada Exploration Inc., or NGE, has developed a proprietary hydrogen chemistry, which is groundwater chemistry, exploration technology, to explore for gold in Nevada's covered basins where traditional exploration techniques are challenged. So NG is aggressively applying this technology in Nevada to identify, acquire, and advance new exploration properties in the basins where, you know, in the valleys, for example, where it's tough to see what the rocks might host under the surface of sand and gravels. And of course, the team is led by a very experienced management team who've got not only 40 years of exploration experience in Nevada, but have also discovered over 10% of the gold that's ever been discovered in Nevada. So that's the backdrop. But since you introduced the company first, going back last fall, we've been quite busy. For example, we've got the shares that are now listed on the OTCQX to raise the profile and develop a stronger U.S. following. Most recently, we've raised more than $3.5 million through various financing we've completed, and that's allowed us to go out and start doing our work programs on our projects in Nevada. We've significantly increased our land holdings by more than 30 square kilometers, or 12 square miles, and that's in areas such as Grass Valley and the Kelly Creek Basin, where you've got between 50 to 70 million ounces of gold in other deposits that surround these basins. So we're in the right neighborhood, the right address. And most recently, we purchased a small reverse circulation drill rig that was mounted in the back of a truck, so we can go out and we'd previously used our GeoProbe water chemistry program to develop the targets, or to source the targets. And now we've got this drill rig that we can go out and actually do some better refining at the targets. And not only do we collect water samples, but we can also collect bedrock samples. That little drill rig will go down to about 400 feet. So we're in good shape, and we're looking forward to getting very active on our programs this fall, the rest of the summer, and of course this fall in Nevada.
Dennis, I had the opportunity and the privilege actually to interview Wade Hodges earlier this year. A man on your team there at Nevada Exploration, who has discovered over 30 million ounces of gold. A great guy with a proprietary approach to pulling metal out of the ground. So if you would, please tell us about a little more about this mining legend. He was very humbled, on the interview. And, what makes Nevada Exploration so unique?
Sure. Wade, of course, has spent 40 years working in Nevada. Before I get into him a little bit, I should just back up and say that I don't think we have a proprietary approach to pulling metal out of the ground, but we have a proprietary method of honing into where those gold deposits might be discovered in the valleys of Nevada, where it's difficult to see under the standing gravels what the rock types might be. So our technique is actually to discover the deposits rather than mine them. But coming back to Wade, he's been involved in discovery. He was responsible for more than 30 million ounces of gold, and many of these successes, these discoveries, are still in production today, such as Twin Creeks, which turned out to be about 15 million ounces of gold. So Wade was one of the first people to recognize the initial report by David Grimes of the United States Geological Survey on how these gold deposits leave a signature in the surrounding groundwater that can help locate where these hidden deposits might be. So that's what Wade is doing now, and in fact, he's used this technique now in Nevada to do an orientation around 35 known gold deposits in Nevada, and this groundwater technique that NGE is using would have shown where 33 of those 35 gold deposits are. So that's a 94% success ratio. So we're pretty excited that this technique and so on that NG has built over the last 10 years, this database is, we think, going to be very effective in helping us have a major discovery in Nevada.
Dennis, something I would add is that the HUI index is currently at around 250 here. Just over that, and that's with a gold price above $1,300. The HUI was trading in 2005 at these very same levels with a gold price in the $400 range, which actually only goes to show how much more upside there is at these prices without gold even moving from where it is. So I just want to ask you, in your opinion, at what stage of the bull market would you say the mining sector is at in general?
Sure. Well, I would say we're at the very early stages again. We had a bear market, a decline in the resource sector, and some companies and some markets, a decline of about 90% over the last 5 years, 4.5 years. So, the coming back now of the market is, I think, very early stages. We've only seen about five or 6 months of it, and we're, as always in any bull market, you're going to have minor corrections along the way, but on a long-term basis, we're in my opinion, a sustained gold bull market.
And Wade, you're a legendary investor, someone who's just been in the community, the resource community, for some time now, and had a lot of success in what you've done throughout the course of your life here. And I just want to get your final closing words of advice for people that are currently dealing with this economy and facing these extreme imbalances with with what we're dealing with, government, central bank, money printing, and how that trickles down to the common person. And I just want to see if you would share with us some words of advice on what you would tell these people in moving forward here in 2016.
Sure. The markets are volatile, and more so now due to political and economic uncertainty. You've got Brexit, you've got near zero or negative interest rates, you've got a U.S. presidential election, which I don't want to touch on that topic, but people should take advantage of this volatility and buy when stocks are on sale.
Yeah, it's good
and
advice.
I'm talking specifically the resource sector, of course.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the imbalances are sure showing, especially when looking at those debt to EBITDA, in the S&Ps, and then, the undervaluations that we're seeing in the resource sector at the moment. So, in closing here, please share with our listeners how people can learn more about NGE and partner with the company.
Certainly. NGE, Nevada Exploration, does have a website. It's very factual. It's not a flashy website like some companies might have. It's NevadaExploration.com. And, of course, they're always welcome to give me a call as well. My direct line is 604-689-1659. I do a lot of travel, so if I'm unable to answer the phone for any reason, please leave a message and I will call people back.
Wow. Well, that's very kind of you, sir, and very kind of you to take the time with us here today at Crush the Street. Dennis Higgs, everyone, of Nevada Exploration. Dennis, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Kenneth. Appreciate that. Thank you.